Exercise 3 asks us about two different programs as given here. One creates 6 different variables as well as a variable to hold the average of numbers. It uses cin to individually get each variable one at a time on this row, and then computes an average by adding those all together and dividing by 6. The second program makes use of a structure that's talked about on the next page of the lab called a loop. Here you can see this while. It says while count is less than 6. You input one value of x. You add it into a sum variable, which starts at 0. Count also starts at 0. Then you increment count by 1. Count plus plus was a shorthand for count equals count plus 1. What's inside this while loop will be repeated as long as count is less than 6. So count starts at 0. After one iteration, count is now equal to 1. After 2 iterations, count is now equal to 2, and so forth. And with each iteration, you add in another user input value to this sum. After the loop has ended, meaning this condition goes false, so count is no longer less than 6, it goes false, then you move on from the loop. We have an end line, and then the average is calculated as the sum divided by 6, and we output that average. So let's take this code and run it. So we'll start a new project again to exercise 3. And we need to copy over the code from the PDF. You might remember that in the very first lab we had an issue with a lot of the notation coming through. That isn't as great of an issue with the future labs. That first one just has an issue with some of the quotation marks. Oops. Wrong order there. There we go. So I could just copy it off the first page of the PDF. Let me grab the second page. Make sure you get every single line so that we don't miss out on anything. And if we build and run this, which, let's see, is that what it asks us to do here? What are the differences? And then modify the second program to calculate 10 grades. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So it does 6 grades right now. To modify it for 10 grades, we need it to count 10 times. And a good indicator for that is anywhere where you see a 6, we can change to a 10. So this will now loop and retrieve a variable 10 times. And then when we average it, it will divide it by 10. So start without debugging. We'll build and run it again. I didn't change the text. It still says enter 6 grades, but it's going to be 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it takes the average of 10. So you will have to enter or change the text that you present to the user as well. The exercise then asks what would needed to be changed so the user could tell you how many data are about to be averaged.